one of our favorite topics of conversation. Micah Parsons
Mm.
took shots at Skip on the Open Thoughts podcast with Funny Marco. Take a listen.
Mm.
I tell people how it is.
So what about people that don't be thinking like you think? And they just like, do
They
you feel like?
scared. They scared. They scared to voice their opinions. Fuck them.
Mm-hmm.
Like I tell you, like fuck Skip Bayless. Fuck all them.
Uh-huh.
Like I don't give a fuck.
That's them because that's part of talking. It's communication.
Yeah, no, I just like they want to rage bait me, rage me. Like,
Yeah.
but like they won't say that to my face. Like
I wouldn't. I'll talk shit behind your back
like
too.
you these Twitter finger ass motherfuckers.
I would be the same thing.
They like fuck them.
Hey, he don't give a fuck, Skip.
Hey.
I'm telling
you. What was your reaction when you saw this clip?
So, look, you can say fuck Skip Bayless if you want, because you got to get in line for that one. I've been hearing that, 10,000 million times, and probably will hear it that many more times in the future. But when you call me a Twitter finger ass motherfucker and say that I'm afraid to say everything that I've said on Arena Gridiron or on X or on videos to your face, then you and I have a problem, and you're going to hear from me. And Micah heard the next day from me via a viral video in which I challenged him to meet me anywhere, anytime, any place, any show. Let's start with this show, Arena Gridiron. We would love to have him on. I brought up the fact that Akib could sit next to him and hold his hand if he wants somebody to hold his hand, pat him on the back and tell him he's okay.
I'll be the referee, Skip.
And be the referee. And as I said, just last week, Draymond Green, who's been an adversary of mine for many, many years, even more than Micah has, asked me to be on his show, the Draymond Green Show, and I did it. And we sat for 2.5 hours in front of a live studio audience of a couple of hundred out here in LA. And they were all pro Draymond, so he had everybody on his side. And we went back and forth through all of our issues for 2.5 hours. And I gotta tell you, I enjoyed it. It was productive. It was healthy. We got a lot accomplished. I think we got to know each other a lot better, and it really worked. And I would be happy to do it any way that Micah would want to do it. I could come on his show. I could come on Open Thoughts with Funny Marco. We could go home and home. We could go any way that you want to do it, because Micah also went on to say that first he said, why don't you come play my position, Skip? Well, obviously I can't do that because very, very few people in the world can do that. But then he said, and I can do, Skip, what you do, sometimes even better than you do it. Well, this is what we do. So, Micah, I challenge you again here on Arena Gridiron to come and sit with me, eye to eye, man to man, seat to seat, and let's talk through it. And in my viral video yesterday, guys, I detailed my whole game plan. I just gave it away. I went through very quickly every last thing I've ever said issue-wise with Micah Parsons, good and bad. And I laid out the blueprint for how to beat me at my own game, so he would know exactly. There was one thing I did not say in this viral video that I would say to his face to ambush him or blindside him. Whatever it's going to be, it's there. He can just go back and take notes on the video and be ready to respond, because I'm definitely going to respond to him calling me afraid. Because if you guys remember, Akib got Aaron Donald on the show at the Super Bowl, and I figured he might bring up some of our distant past issues, and he did.
He did.
And it was fine. I am not afraid to back up my opinions face to face. So I don't know. I still think Micah hasn't grown up yet. I don't think he understands. I don't think he gets it. But that's just me. Akib, fire away. If you want to take issue with anything I took issue with Micah, be my guest.
Well, you ain't got to be afraid, Skip. I ain't gonna let nothing go left. I'll be there.
Yeah,
I
you
ain't gonna
would
let
be.
it go left, Skip. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be there.
As in throwing a left, or
I
right?
ain't gonna let none of it go left. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be a perfect peacemaker. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll make sure everything's straight. But honestly, Skip, I think he had the right to respond to you. You know what I'm saying? You've been on
Yeah.
him. You've been on him all year. You know what
I
I'm saying?
understand.
Which
Yeah.
is it's our job. If that's your opinion, that's your opinion. I say my opinion. Cody say his. Gerald said his. We all gave our opinion on everything, not just Micah Parsons. So if he wanted to respond the way he did respond, shit, he had the right to do it. That's how he felt.
Okay.
If he
I
felt like
got it.
if he felt like fuck Skip Bayless, then hey, that's how he felt. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
So I just think it says a lot about you though, Skip, because all these guys want to respond to you. You know what I'm saying? I never been, as a player, I never been one to want to respond to me. I'm just like, bro, in the media, bro, you can't do what I do. I kind of feel like Parsons. I ain't really worried about what you saying. You can't do what I do. You can critique me all you
Yeah.
want. You can't come
Yeah,
out
I
here and
got
do
you.
so.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I never really responded to no media person because I ain't never really see fit. But I'm telling you, Skip, man, it goes to show you who the fuck Skip Bayless is. That hey,
All right.
boys got to respond. They won't smoke with you, Skip. I even had Pistons coach, former NBA player Jared Jack called me like, man, what's up with Skip? Man, I'm defending you on the phone. I say, man, Skip a good dude. He entitled to his opinion, ain't it? Me and Jared went back for 30 minutes because I'm defending you, Skip. Like, bro.
Okay. By the way, I used to have Jared on the show way back in the first take days.
He told me.
He did a bunch of shows with me.
He
So
told me. So I mean, he was just like, man,
yeah.
I don't know, man. Skip calling him out his name, though. I say, shit, he called Skip the Twitter finger motherfucker. You know what I'm saying? So
He did.
I was defending you, Skip.
Okay, thank you.
Skip
Thank you.
paid his dues in the media so he can give his opinion about anything. And it go to show you how much people care, i.e., Michael Parsons, Aaron Donald, you feel me? Draymond Green. Bro, that show you right there that he respected, man. So, hey, it is what it is, man. Everybody to their opinion.
All right, Cody, your opinion.
Yeah, first of all, I would love to see this happen. It would be awesome to have Micah on the Arena Gridiron, or if Skip went and joined in for his podcast. Either way, I think you guys have to make this happen if Micah's willing to do it. With that being said, though, I do understand where Mike is coming from. To Akib's point, being a former player, there were times that I wanted to say what Mike just said when I would see or hear, different media members talk about me and write these articles. It would be frustrating. And, I do understand, especially more so now being on this side of things, that the media has a job to do and you have a job to do. But there's also a human aspect to it as a player, to where you're still a person that when you see constant disrespect and negative things said about you, it's only human to respond a certain way. And that was the way that he wanted to respond. He has every right to do that. But I will say about you, Skip, something that I truly respect and I think separates you from a lot of media members, at least from my own experience, is that you're always going to stand 10 toes down. You really will. It doesn't matter who it is.
I will.
You will say what you say on social media and television, but you'll also back it up in person and say it to their face. I dealt with a lot of media members, both in college and the NFL, that would try to be buddy-buddy and wanted to get you to trust them and build those relationships and be friendly so that you might share more information with them, during interviews and different things like that. And then they would be the first ones to turn around and go bash you on television or write an article talking about why you're not a great quarterback and why you're a bad player. You will say it to their face, regardless of who it is. When you said on your video, man to man, face to face, eye to eye, and you got up in the camera, I truly believe that you would do that, given the opportunity. So they got to make it happen. I would love to see it. It would break the internet, at least for Cowboys fans. I'm sure Cowboys fans would love to see it. I would have my popcorn ready. It would be really cool if he joined us on the show and we could see it in person. I
agree. TJ, your thoughts?
Yeah. Honestly, I saw your reply, Skip, before I saw Micah's video.
Oh, you did?
Yeah, right. I'm kicking back. I'm crying because I'm like, oh, somebody done made Skip mad. So I go look up what Micah said. But it's a competitive thing. We all in a competition somewhat, some way. But what I do appreciate you, Skip, is when you wrong, you come back and say, "Hey, I was wrong, and my opinion may change." Now, Micah, he got in his feelings a little bit. That was warranted because if anyone, is talking negative about me, whoever it is, I'm gonna feel a certain way. That's just what it is. But he has the opportunity to change everyone's, or specifically your opinion about him through how he plays ball. And I'm sure he's going to take exception to everything he heard this season and transfer it into how he plays this year, regardless of if it's directly because of
Yeah.
what you said or not. And if he comes out balling and does everything you say he can't do, I know you're going to be the first one to say, "Hey, I said this, I said that, and he's changed and he's done this and he's improved in this way." So, but I remember when it was a telecast talking bad about us going into the AFC Championship game.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who wrote it, but
Mm.
I just read it and it got me upset. So when we got that win, I couldn't wait to shove it in that person's face. And I think it was just like a Tom Brady telecast or some shit like that. But you know what I'm saying? I was upset, and it literally motivated me to get. I don't even know how much it did, but it was something from that article that made me, react. And the same
Did you rub it back in somebody's face?
Oh
Did you
yeah,
find him?
absolutely. I couldn't find the writer. It may have been a blog. But even what Aaron Donald said, like little shit that irk us be in the back of our mind. It be in the back of our mind, and whoever it is, we can't wait to prove them wrong. And that's what I love about sports. That's why I love about our debate shows, these panels, is because you have the opportunity to prove with facts, with performance, with everything else, you're right, you're wrong, and you have the opportunity to change it. So,
All right.
I respect it. I respect it both ways. So,
Okay. So, quick point of order. Back in my straight newspaper days, going way back into the 80s and early 90s, when I was just a newspaper columnist, I did radio in Dallas, but I didn't have a regular TV gig. I was doing a lot of things for ESPN. But the point was, I found that if I had an issue with a Dallas Cowboy or with anybody in any sport, the Dallas Mavericks, Dallas Texas Rangers, that if I'd always be around the locker room, and if somebody had an issue, if you wound up going back and forth in front of the guys in the locker room, in front of the other players, it was a bad setting because both of us are on stage where your pride gets in the way, your macho gets in the way. The player's got to show he's big bad, he's going to step on this little reporter in front of his teammates, and it never was productive. We didn't get anywhere. It just made both of us matter, and it poured gasoline on a fire that was already burning, so we didn't need that. And so what I found was that if I had them come on the radio, which I did all the time, if you have an issue, let's do it on the radio, where thousands, millions, I don't know how many people could hear it. And we both have sort of equal audience on our sides, where you could just go back and forth, and we'd have an actual real life conversation that wouldn't get screwed up because of macho pride in front of you guys got to be tough in front of your teammates. It would be actual eye to eye, man to man. And then the more I got into TV, the breakthrough was, this is back in, I don't know, 2009. He was then Chad Ochocinco. I guess he still is Chad Ochocinco, but Chad Johnson, Chad Ochocinco, he and I were going back and forth. He was a Bengal, and we got to a place where he wanted me to come to Cincinnati. It was right before the start of the 2009 football season, and actually go face to face on television. And we set it up in the visitors' locker room, and we went for, I don't know, this is the early days of First Take. I don't know. We went for 2 hours, and some of it we just talked football, just about the NFL, but a lot of it was he and I going back and forth, and it was, I got to tell you, it was really good because I didn't pull back, but we didn't, as I always used to say about First Take, no punches pulled, but none thrown. It never went over the edge into screaming at each other. It didn't get personal. We had a really good talk. And then Chad and I became buddies after that. And
Right.
he came on First Take a bunch of times. So my point to you is that this is really good. And like what Draymond and I did, I would recommend for anybody to go watch it. It's long, but you can see how we hashed it out, how we got to an understanding. Oh, that's why you said, yeah, and that's why you shouldn't have done. Yeah, okay. And you go back and forth within 5 feet of each other, and you can actually get someplace without screaming, yelling, f-bombing, mfing. And so I would love for Micah to come sit with us in the group, because I just think it'd be good for everybody. It'd be good for me, and I definitely think it'd be good for Micah.
Right. I agree. I agree. He just got to understand that it's just an opinion. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
everybody's not going to like you as a player. Everybody's not going to like what you do.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And everybody is entitled to their opinion. Some people opinions
Yeah.
hold a little bit more weight, like Skips do. You know what I'm saying? So that's if Joe Blow would have said it, Parsons
Yeah.
wouldn't give a fuck what he said. But it's
No.
just the fact that Skip, his
Yeah.
opinion hold weight, and Skip the one who said it, so that shit piss him off. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
it is what it is. You just got to understand that in this business, bro. Hey, you got the players and you got the media, and the media gonna sit on TV. They gonna get in the papers, the radio. They gonna say their opinion on whatever they want, bro. It is what it is. And,
Yeah.
and half the time they might really believe that opinion. Half the time they might just be saying that opinion, just like sometimes I might say some shit just to go against Skip. Like, you know what I'm saying? I just want to play heads with Skip today. So what I'm saying, I don't even really feel like that. I might see him like, hey, I ain't really mean that shit, bro. I just want to go against Skip. You know what I'm saying? So we just
I got it.
hanging, baby. You know what I'm saying? We just chill, Micah. Just
Yeah.
chill, baby. It's just entertainment.
It is
Yeah.
entertainment. He got to understand that too. But you bring something up, Skip, when you said that once you get to hashing and clearing the air, you find out a lot of these reasons why you button heads because you got the same personalities.
Yeah.
Growing up, you got friction with people, like Lee like to say.
Yeah.
It turned out to be one of your best friends because
That
y'all
is true.
had friction for a certain reason. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
we're just the same now. This is my best dog. So
Yeah.
it'd be like that.
Yeah. Like, to your point, TJ, with Draymond and Draymond can, as you guys know, on the basketball court, he just loses it sometimes and just loses mind, loses where he is. And yet my point to him, I've called him the dirtiest player in the history of basketball, because I could just go on YouTube and look at a compilation of all of Draymond's cheap shots, and you'll just sit back and say, what are you thinking, man? Like, what are you doing? Because
Yeah.
he's kicking guys in the nuts, he's popping LeBron in the nuts with his fist, he's swirling and smashing Nurkic in the face, he's choking Gobert, he's stomping on Sabonis. It's just like one thing. You just watch him. If you watch them all at once, you say, well, you're so much better than all that. But the point I was making to him, the redeeming value of Draymond Green is he's got 4 championship rings because he was the guts and the glue of a finesse basketball team with 2 great shooters that they desperately needed, to the point that Steve Kerr always says about Draymond, I wouldn't have 4 rings without Draymond Green. Well, as Akib always says, you got the chip. Yeah, he's got 4 chips. He doesn't have 1 or 2. He's got 4. So something was right about what he was doing. But Draymond, after we talked for a long time, he said to me, the truth is you and I are a lot alike. And we are, because as Draymond said about me, I'll quote him. He says, you don't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about you or what you say about anybody else. I don't, as long as I believe it.
Right.
And everything I've said about Micah, I believe. And Draymond doesn't give a fuck about what anybody thinks about him. He just plays basketball as kind of an overachiever. He was a second round pick who stayed all 4 years at Michigan State. and he had to scratch and claw to get to where he is in the NBA. Well, you want to talk about coming from nowhere to everywhere? He did that. He pulled it off. So I'm very complimentary of him, and yet he said the truth is we're both coming from a lot of the same places, sort of psychologically, and we are. So that's why Micah, and you guys, I don't want to rehash everything we've talked about, but obviously I was a big fan of his for about a year in Dallas because he had a great first year before people figured out exactly how to deal with him. And then as you guys have heard from me 1,000 times, my problem was that I watched him play 4 playoff games in Dallas, and I got to tell you, mostly no-showed in all 4 of them, except for the one that they won against Tom Brady at age 45, the 8 and 9 Tampa Bay Bucks, just on Brady's swan song game. It was 31-14 Dallas, and Micah sacked Tom Brady with less than a minute left. That was the only sack he had in 4 playoff games for my Dallas Cowboys. And the other 3 he just completely no-showed in, which I still can't figure out. And the 4th and final was ironically against his now Green Bay Packers. He was obviously a Cowboy. And across the board, he had no stats in that game. He had no sacks, no hits on the quarterback, no pressures, no tackles, no assisted. He had nothing. He had zeros across the board, and they were down 27-0 before halftime. Well, I only say what I see, and I couldn't see anything from Micah Parsons, and they did become a liability against the run. And Jerry Jones said that the day they traded him, that in the big press conference, he said, well, he just wasn't good against the run. And a couple of his veteran teammates, Malik Hooker and DeMarcus Lawrence, took him to task publicly because he seemed to prioritize his podcast over his football. And I'm repeating what they're saying. So I don't know. I'd love to talk about all of the above with Micah any day, anytime on this show or any show.
I don't know. I don't know if we get that done with Micah though. I don't know if he's there yet. You know what I'm saying?
No.
I don't know if he's there yet. I don't know if he's ready to do that yet. You know what I'm saying? So it's with Draymond. I could see Draymond doing that.
Yeah.
Draymond, he done made amends with Brian, and
it's true. No, he did.
He done turned that corner. I don't know
did.
if Parsons there yet.
Yeah. Okay. So, Keith, do you think does he need to grow up a little more? Does he need to mature a little more? Does he need to figure it out a little more?
Nah, I'm not saying he need to mature. None of that. Just whenever he get there and want to hash it out with you, that may never happen. You know what I'm saying? He might not.
Yeah.
He might just feel how he said, "Fuck Skip, bro. I'm not worried about Skip."
Maybe.
You know I got hurt. I had 12 and a half, 13, whatever he had. I got big dog double-digit sacks already. So he may never be worried about it. I ain't saying he need to grow up or nothing. Just, just right now where he at, where I see him from the outside looking in, he just ain't ready to do that right now. You know what I'm saying? So, man, look, I think on the field, as you keep playing, he's still young. As you keep playing and you keep playing, once you get to year 7, 8, 9, them your prime years. He ain't even touched his prime yet to me. So them going to be the years that he played for a Super Bowl team, and in those 4 playoff games, he had 5 sacks, and he going to have his time where he run it up. And then it just be about, I got this many playoff games and this many playoff sacks, and he going to have his time. But, man, he's just young, man. He's young. He's a hell of a player in my eyes.
Okay.
All right.
Let me, real quick before you go, TJ, let me remind everybody, this was just less than a year ago. DeMarcus Lawrence went to the Seahawks, and he got interviewed the first day he was in Seattle. And he said, Dallas is home and will forever be home, but I know for sure I'm never going to win a Super Bowl there. And Micah immediately tweeted at DeMarcus, this some clown shit. This is what rejection and envy look like. And then DeMarcus Lawrence tweeted right back at Micah, maybe if you spent less time tweeting and more time winning, I wouldn't have left. And obviously, DeMarcus Lawrence just backed it up and is now the proud possessor of a championship ring. So that kept happening with teammates in Dallas saying, no, your priorities are backward. You want to do too many podcasts. You want to do too much tweeting. And one quick point was that on the show that we're talking about, the Open Thoughts show, when Funny Marco asked him to Micah, what do you see yourself doing in 5 years? He said, well, I see myself having graduated from culinary school, which I didn't know he wanted to be a chef, but that's what he said, and that he would be becoming a chef. And I'm thinking, if I'd asked any of you guys at a certain level, what are you going to be doing in 5 years while you're playing football? You'd say, well, I hope to have a couple of championships, right? I mean, that would be your priority. And Micah's priority is to go to cooking school. I don't know that.
He also said coaching. He also said coaching kids in high school or something like that.
Okay, all right. So,
Yeah.
But you're right. He ain't saying nothing about a chip.
I
No.
feel you, Skip, man. I said that numerous times. It's like you too focused on other things.
yeah,
like
yeah,
your own entertaining podcast. I get it. Get your feelings out tweeting. But I mean, Funny Marco, he's a comedian.
he is. Yeah,
Sports realm. He like, why are you even on there? Like, you know what I'm saying? I think you
Yeah.
got bigger fish to fry. And
Yeah.
you left Dallas too. I mean, you got traded, but you still out of Dallas. So
Yeah.
Torrance comments,
Yeah.
I just feel like certain things shouldn't get to you as heavy as they might, or at least as a man, I'm
Okay.
not gonna reply to everything. Like something,
Okay.
Exactly.
keep going.
All right.
But
Okay. And my final point about Micah Parsons is that he did come with the Green Bay Packers on a Sunday night in week 5 to Dallas of this last season. And you guys remember what happened? It was 40-40 in overtime. So Micah's new defense gave up 40 points at Dallas. And Jerry said right after the game, I'm just going to paraphrase it, but he said this game proved that it was right for us to trade Micah Parsons. So I don't know. I'd love to talk about this, but I'm leaning with the Keeb. I don't think Micah. I just don't think he would, frankly, have the guts to come and do what I did with Draymond Green. And maybe it's just his station in life right now that he's not there yet. But I would agree that I don't see him doing it, but I hope he would, because I think it would help him more than he thinks.
well, speaking of Jerry Jones and your Cowboys.